Still in Love, a beautiful twisted tale of Uma Musume by Pyrrhixz. Yep, the only thing I know about this horse is that she essentially was super, how do you put it? Very fixated on her jockey, so much that she like kind of became jealous and didn't like the jockey's girlfriend and shit. That kind of stuff. That's all I know. We'll just jump in. We'll see.
In Uma Musume, it is common for a horse's legacy to be upheld even long after death. Rarely do we see a divergence from the historical records translated into Uma Musume Pretty Derby. So what happens when this mold is broken, and we are presented with a story so far-fetched it aims to rewrite the history of the horse this Uma represents? With the recent 4.5 years.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Also, I got together 2 more pulls for Air Groove. No, we did not get that. We did not get that. I did not get it. The jockey was also as crazy as her about her. Wow. Wow. Horny horse. Horny is not a mood!
Celebration for the Japanese release of Uma Musume Pretty Derby, we got an Uma that did just that. A racehorse who would form an unbreakable bond with their jockey and aid him to achieve his greatest dream alongside her. A bond so inseparable.
Oh boy, yep. That is clearly that is clearly yandere energy. For sure. That face, the glowing eyes. Yep, most certainly. When is she gonna release, by the way? I have no idea when she might release in the future. Because if that's gonna happen, I must save all my carrots. I want her.
That it would create one of the most beautifully twisted career scenarios in Uma.
She even does the yandere pose. They know. They know 100%. She even does the hand thing. She's a new horse in JP, so very long. Well, that means for sure that a year before she releases, I'm gonna save carrots worth a year. I do not care. I'll max her out.
Uma Musume's history, one that will most likely never be replicated again. This is the story of Still in Love. For context, this video will cover Still in Love's real history and aims to aid people understanding her Uma Musume counterpart. I will give as much context in this video as I can to ensure that the full story of Still in Love is told to the best of my abilities. Still in Love was a mare born on May 2nd, 2000 at the Shimokobe farm in Hokkaido. Following Still's birth, she'd be purchased by North Hills Farm Management. Just like the Shodai farm, which we covered in my Manhattan Cafe video, North Hills also is a prominent farm in Japan. The Shodai farm is an extremely large collective, boasting the ability to operate on a much larger scale over smaller privately owned farms like North Hills. North Hills is owned and operated by a small group of private breeders, who oversee every aspect of their horse's career from birth into retirement. The structure of North Hills is also very reminiscent of previous farms of the same nature, such as the Simbali and Mejudo farm. Still in Love's pedigree, at a glance, may seem like any other horse.
I guess farms having similar systems, possibly even locations, makes sense to aid the horses. I could see that. It was all terrible, awful, terrible anime, but Yuno was the face yonder for like a decade, maybe together with Rina from When They Cry. Okay, we will miss Potato, rip Potato.
Horse that we've covered before. However, it would be the first example in this series that would touch upon a subject completely glossed over in Uma Musume. For this next segment, I'll do my best to explain Still's extensive pedigree. Still in Love's conception could be considered as a high-risk, high-reward scenario. Looking back 4 generations on her sire's side reveals a connection to Alma Mound. In addition, 5 generations back on her dam's side reveals the same name. It wasn't only Alma Mound that was a recurring name, but Hail to Reason as well on both the sire and dam side. For
Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Sunday Silence? That's interesting. Huh.
Still's pedigree, based on these facts, we have a 4-5 cross on Alma Mound and a 3-3 cross to Hail to Reason. In Japan, a 3-4 cross is often called a miracle blood cross, which is believed to be the most effective inbreeding combination. In more extreme cases of inbreeding,
She's a result of inbreeding? Well, actually, that might explain a lot of things. Getting back to work, I guess. Have a nice time. Take care, Cricket. Oh no. What is it recent? I'm never getting away from the inbreeding topic ever. It just always comes up.
Classified as a 1-to-1. Both parents are the offspring of the exact same full sister and brother. In addition to Still in Love, other examples of horses as a result of inbreeding were Shinko King and Karen Rapstar. Still would also be a descendant of Sunday Silence and Northern Dancer, only adding to the strong pedigree overall. Much like many horses owned by North Hills, Still would be conditioned to debut in her 2-year-old year. With a strong pedigree behind her, all that was left to do was to find Still a proper trainer and jockey. Still in Love, with the help of North Hills, will be put under the care of Shoichi Matsumoto. This may come across as a familiar name if you see my video on Tokai Teo, Matsumoto being the trainer for his career. Matsumoto would be in charge of conditioning Still to be able to race in her career that followed. During the fall season in 2002, Matsumoto's stable reached out to Hideki Miyuki, inquiring for him to ride with a newcomer horse. As described to Miyuki, the horse he'd been assigned to was a well-bred daughter of Sunday Silence, owned by North Hills. This came as a surprise to Miyuki since Mikio Matsunaga, the stable's main jockey, had not been assigned to ride a horse of such potential. Yasumasa Matsumoto, trainer Matsumoto's son, encouraged Miyuki to ride Still in Love regardless. This interaction would spark an inseparable bond between Miyuki and Still. During training, Still in Love responded very well to Miyuki, Yasumasa making sure Miyuki continued to ride alongside Still every week during training. Yasumasa believed that with this dedication, Miyuki could jockey Still in a real race. Even with the ease of communication between Still and Miyuki, he felt this was a horse destined for Mikio Matsunaga to ride. Compared to Matsumoto's main jockey, Miyuki wasn't as reputable. Miyuki's record as a jockey wasn't poor whatsoever. However, he didn't feel he was a fit to ride such an expensive, well-bred, and high-potential horse like Still in Love. Miyuki's jockey history could also be attributed by his senior, the jockey who'd take Miyuki under his wing. Miyuki's senior was Seiki Tabara, a name that many in the racing world regarded as a genius jockey. Just like Matsumoto, Tabara would be affiliated with Tokai Teo, being the jockey who rode Teo in the miraculous Arimakinen victory in 1993, which is displayed in the Season 2 finale of Uma Musume. Tabara had a close bond with Miyuki and would often invite him out to eat on occasion.
Damn, look at bro almost crying, making me emotional here!
Through these joyous occasions and the reputation of his senior, Miyuki found himself in Tabara's shadow. One could not simply achieve the same greatness that Tabara displayed, nor the mastery and understanding of different techniques that Tabara could execute. Compared to his senior, Miyuki had yet to produce a single G1 victory since becoming a jockey. Due to the absence of a G1 win, Miyuki still didn't know what it took to achieve the pinnacle of horse racing. Miyuki, though humble, was incredibly hard on himself, believing that he didn't possess the capabilities to follow in his senior's footsteps. Little did Miyuki know, word had already spread of his efforts training alongside Still in Love. Word had traveled from Yasumasa to Shoichi, and from Shoichi to the owner of North Hills, Koji Maeda. Hearing of Miyuki's efforts to ride alongside Still daily, it was something Maeda simply could not ignore. Koji Maeda's sense of loyalty was well known in the industry, something Miyuki had clearly portrayed alongside Still in Love. Due to this, Maeda would waste no time, promptly agreeing to let Miyuki jockey Still in Love in future races to come. Even if Miyuki was a younger
It's really interesting how in depth it is this time, like the jockey's history as well. Though I guess with Still in Love and her behavior, I guess it does make sense to go into the history of the jockey as well. Very interesting.
And more inexperienced jockey in comparison to his competition. Maeda firmly believed in the bond that had been formed between the pair. Miyuki's doubts continued to cloud his mind, believing Still was a horse that was far too impressive to be paired with an unremarkable jockey like himself. To Miyuki's surprise, Matsumoto would call him into the stable to relay an important message. Still is yours to ride. On November 30th, 2002, that bond will be put to the test at Still in Love's debut race. Still in Love would be the fan favorite to win this race, and unsurprisingly, she wouldn't let those who believed in her down. Crossing the finish line, Still claimed first place, showing the audience the strength that came from the strong bond she shared with Miyuki. Despite Miyuki's doubts of his own capabilities, he'd won against Matsumoto's top jockey, Mikio Matsunaga. Matsunaga would jockey Heavenly Romance at this debut race, another offspring of Sunday Silence and a horse owned by North Hills. Romance would finish 6th in this race overall, far behind in placement from Still in Love. The distance between first and second place wasn't close either. Still in Love had won by 3.5 horse lengths over the second place recipient Suzuka Kitano. Even with this victory, Miyuki had doubts that Still in Love could be the first horse to claim a G1 victory alongside him. Still would complete her first year of racing in 2002 with the victory of her debut race, ending the year undefeated. Moving into 2003, the first race the duo would tackle would be the Kobai Stakes, held on January 19th. This race would pit Still against a roster of talented horses. Even so, Still would pull ahead, claiming another victory alongside Miyuki. Miyuki, at this point, was in pure disbelief. A sudden realization had occurred during the race as he continued to hold the reins. After winning their debut, he had doubts of Still's capabilities to win in G1, evaluating her lower than prior horses he jockeyed like To the Victory, who won 3rd place in the 1999 Oka Show, and Mayano Maybe, who would place 2nd in the Oka Show the following year. This time, things were completely different as he jockeyed Still in Love. Miyuki recalled that Still's natural sense, responsiveness, and explosive power far exceeded that of his previously highly evaluated horses. In every aspect, Still in Love
Bro basically saw wait, I may have the chance of getting a G1 win here. Interesting. I wonder where this is going. I also like how she has like this little white part here, right? And like I assume her ears are fully covered? Maybe not? But they look fully covered. Right?
outperformed even the horses Miyuki previously jockeyed who displayed the most potential to seize a G1 win. Now, with the back-to-back wins solidified.
Damn! What are these horses? What are these designs? Damn! Broke through Uma Musume. Especially her. God damn, man. Global needs to speed up!
Miyuki felt a sudden wave of motivation. Achieving a G1 victory seemed tangible with Still in Love. This confidence in seizing a G1 victory for Miyuki would soon turn to the weight of a sudden pressure. He could not afford to lose with Still in Love. Shoichi Matsumoto wasn't only a famous trainer, but he was also known for being a strict teacher. Miyuki firmly believed that if he lost even once alongside Still, that he'd be replaced, an expendable factor of Still in Love's career. The next race Still would participate in would be the Tulip Show.
Basically, bro could not lose. Basically. Otherwise he knew what was he knew the stakes. He was not able to lose. He could not lose. He was not allowed to lose.
Held on March 8, 2003. This was a race Miyuki absolutely could not afford to lose. A victory at the Tulip Show would only raise expectations for the Oka Show, the first leg of the filly's Triple Crown. When discussing the Triple Crown title in many of my past videos, I have exclusively referred to the classic Triple Crown title. In addition, the Triple Tiara, or the filly's Triple Crown, also exists. Much like the classic title, this title is only achievable in a
Interesting. Wait a minute, let him explain. I have a theory. Let's see if I'm right.
filly's 3-year-old year. In order to achieve the Triple Tiara, a racehorse must win the 3 following races: the Oka Show, Yushun Himba, and the Shuka Show. At the Tulip Show, Still in Love was considered a top contender.
But isn't this then essentially just the Triple Crown, but for mares? Or can the classic Triple Crown be also achieved by males? By what's the stallions?
Miyuki's determination to win had also grown even stronger, the pressure turning to confidence as the race began. Still in Love would hover between 6th and 4th place for a majority of the race until the final corner into the home stretch, where Miyuki would command her to advance forward. Standing in the way of seizing a victory at the Tulip Show stood 3 horses: Osumi Haruka, She is Tosho, and Cheer's Message. Miyuki had a deep understanding of Still's capabilities, and was confident that she could surge from the inside of Osumi Haruka. Miyuki waited for the right opportunity to advance, waiting for an opening to appear between the 3 horses in front of them. Seeing a small opening, Miyuki commanded Still to rush forward. However, he had fallen into a trap. Katsumi Ando, Haruka's jockey, swiftly closed the gap.
A classic, you know, being blocked. I feel this pain. Triple Crown for fillies. Okay, basic GR. Okay, GR. Okay. I get it.
Preventing Still from advancing forward. In a split-second decision, Miyuki commanded Still to advance from the outside of the pack, attempting to distance herself from the other competitors. Though only lasting for a brief moment, this sudden action by Ando had shifted the outcome of the Tulip Show. Even though Still displayed an immense final burst, she ultimately would lose by a head to Haruka. Pressure, doubt, and regret quickly filled Miyuki's mind. Was it all over? Will I be replaced? These thoughts plagued Miyuki as he replayed the scene over and over again in his head. Staring blankly at the sky, Miyuki had already resigned himself as Still's jockey, firmly believing there would be no second chances. This loss would be something.
Okay, I googled it. In most cases, a filly is a female horse under 4 years old. Okay, now I get the terminology. So it essentially is basically a Triple Crown version for female horses under 4 years. Okay, so it is exclusively 2 female horses. Okay, I get it now.
That would stay in Miyuki's mind even after his time was Still in Love. In an interview conducted near Miyuki's retirement as a jockey, he once more stated that he could not fathom the truth behind Ando's skill that day. Katsumi Ando, when actively moving to block Miyuki, hadn't looked back once. To Miyuki, it seemed that it was an instinctual move, sensing that Still and Miyuki had began their surge from behind. This defeat not only shattered Miyuki's confidence, but also showed him the sheer brutality of competition in graded races. The Tulip Show is a G3 graded race, and losing a race of this rating, Miyuki felt that winning a G1 was even more out of reach. Miyuki believed that Still had the capabilities to be a G1 winning filly, however, it would be without him. Even with Miyuki's weakness and poor judgment, Still nearly was able to seize a win. Miyuki would state that Still would surely win the Oka Show, but it would probably be without him as her jockey. Dejected, Miyuki prepared for a harsh scolding by Matsumoto. Despite his reputation as a strict trainer, Matsumoto had never scolded Miyuki before, instead only acting to encourage him while training. Even with the friendly bond that Matsumoto and Miyuki shared, he felt that too was all about to end. He'd been entrusted with such an exceptional horse, yet he rode so poorly. The self-doubt ate away so deeply that Miyuki had sudden thoughts of never returning to face Matsumoto.
Damn. Basically saying he would rather run away than potentially be looked at in disappointment. Understandable. Understandable. Relatable.
Instead, running away was still in love so the two could remain together. This deep connection is something Miyuki thought of as something like an elopement in a romance drama. Due to Miyuki's worry, Still
Bro wanted to take the horse with him. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. He essentially, this seems to be a romance that's gonna be 12 episodes long.
in love will return from the race later than any other horse. Miyuki soon came face to face with Matsumoto, who, to Miyuki's surprise, greeted him with a smile. Matsumoto welcomed Miyuki back, stating that it was a good thing that it wasn't the real thing. This referred to the fact that Miyuki had lost a G3 race, and the real fight could still result in a victory at the Oka show. To Matsumoto,
the good ending question mark? Well, bro did not get shit on. That's surprising. From somebody who's usually very strict, okay.
Miyuki had learned a valuable lesson, that horse racing went beyond the capabilities of just the horse participating. If Miyuki could learn and grow from this mistake in the Oka show, that would be enough for Matsumoto. Though Miyuki was relieved that Matsumoto wasn't angry, still believing in his capabilities, it filled Miyuki with a new feeling. The pressure returned once more, to perform at his very best at the Oka show. Interestingly, in Uma Musume, this event is reversed. Rather than the trainer wanting to escape due to the defeat at the Tulip show, it is Still in Love herself who proposes running away. In this
Interesting. I mean, it would be... Would it... Well, you could portray it that way, obviously. Huh. I wonder what the reasoning for that decision is. Because I don't see how you couldn't implement the trainer running away.
scenario, the reason behind Still's decision is to save the trainer from the reporter's harsh words. This event will not appear in every career run someone will do alongside Still in Love. In order for this event to appear, the condition of losing the Tulip show must be met. Upon losing the Tulip show, the trainer must...
Nah, you have to actually lose it. That is interesting, though. That is interesting. The question is, when you have eventually a really strong Still in Love with like good sparks and everything, right? You could get just good sparks on her. The question becomes, could you lose that on accident? I mean, you could possibly, right? You just put her into a right? You just put her into a situation where she is worse. I don't know what attributes she has, but she's, for example, a bad end closer or something. You could put her there, I guess. Interesting.
Much like real-life records, have been criticized for training in Uma like Still in Love. Facing this criticism, it dealt a fatal blow to his confidence, fully believing that he was not the ideal trainer for Still. Murmurs can be heard stating that it must be the trainer's fault. Maybe replacing him would be better for Still in Love. From the stands, the trainer can hear these critiques of his abilities, the shock making him turn pale as he meets with Still in Love in the underpass. Seeing her beloved trainer's condition, Still is visibly worried. Before she can ask any further questions, voices from the reporters can be heard, asking for the trainer and Still in Love. Sensing what had happened prior to her trainer returning, the following scene takes place. Reinterpreting this as an Uma Musume scenario, the despair the jockey felt and wanting to run away are transformed. In this event, Still, understanding her trainer's feelings, takes the initiative to escape alongside him. There is no intervention in this scenario leading up to the Oka show. Instead,
that's so cute though! That is so cute! I wonder, this is probably not a thing, but if it was, they could have basically put it so that you could basically end the career early and have an alternative ending where you do run away with her. Possibly not, but if that were a thing, that'd be really cool. That's okay. Damn, that's cute. This is the cutest one yet.
It is a reverse scenario of real-life events. Still in love, in an attempt to protect her beloved trainer from criticism and ridicule, chooses to run away with him, far from the reach of the reporters harshly criticizing the bond they'd forged together. In preparation for the Oka show, Miyuki had come to realize one thing. This victory wasn't only one he'd aimed for in his own self-glory, but would be for everyone in his life who chose to believe in him. So many people who come to believe in Miyuki had formed through this perseverance, and thus, he needed to meet their expectations. A lot of physical pressure is on the horse while racing, but Miyuki also recognized that a lot of mental strain had been plaguing him too. Miyuki would spend a lot of time following the Tulip show researching books on mental training, in order to improve his concentration and confidence alongside Still. On April 13th, 2000,
can we argue this makes this a canon romance in Uma Musume? Can we argue that? I'd argue that.
2003, Miyuki once more set foot on the Hashin racecourse, a place he tasted defeat so many times before. This time, Miyuki rode Still in Love confidently, as if to shake all the previous weight of his past failures from his shoulders. Still in Love, as if she could feel Miyuki's plight, will respond accordingly. Still would stretch her stride from the start of the race all the way till the final homestretch, claiming a confident victory at the Oka show, the first leg of the Triple Tiara. Upon crossing the finish line, Miyuki didn't feel joy, but instead felt an immense wave of relief rush over him.
Obviously, looking at how much was at stake, I don't think you would really feel joy. You would be like, just lay down on the track with your arms and legs stretched out, be like, my time has come. And so the jockey became a brony. No! Well, happens.
Past the finish line, Miyuki's good friend, Keinichi Ikezone, congratulated Miyuki. Ikezone's bright smile, even in the face of defeat, brought Miyuki back to his senses. All the overwhelming emotions stirring within Miyuki began to calm, and thanks to Ikezone, he was able to compose himself before returning to the weighing room. When recalling the events following the Oka show, Miyuki states it's all still a blur to him. This is due to the immense pressure Miyuki has shouldered that was all finally released at the Oka show victory. With this,
interesting, I just realized that he now has these graphics. Wow. Okay, that also explains why this took so long. Not only the information, but he never had these graphics, right? He never had the graphics of the races from Uma Musume. He never had this one. He never had the past winners. Ooh, that's a massive improvement in quality. Goddamn, bro.
Pressure Miyuki has shouldered that was all finally released at the Oka show victory. With this, Miyuki, alongside Still in Love, would achieve the first victory of the Triple Tiara, setting their sights next on the Yushun Himba. Naturally, competing in such a high-level race will once more bring strong competitors, one of the most notable being Admire Groove, who be jockeyed by Yutaka Take. Admire Groove, even before his debut, will garner attention from many people. This was due to Admire carrying one of the finest pedigrees in modern-day horse racing. Admire Groove was sired by Sunday Silence, and her dam was Air Groove. When Admire Groove was placed up for auction in the JRA Select Sale in 2000, her price quickly soared from the initial 70 million yen bid, finishing at a final bid of 230 million. This made Groove the highest priced Japanese filly at the time.
Ooh, she looks good too. She looks good too. I like her as well, though I haven't seen a full outfit. But that looks, she already like blue hair, right? Like slightly purplish, maybe lavender eyes. I like that.
Due to Groove's dominant display of power at her debut, she would quickly earn a reputation of being a top contender for the Triple Tiara titles. For the Yushun Himba, many horses would struggle with the stamina required to claim a victory at this race. The Oka show is 1600 meters, while the Yushun Himba was 2400. Still wouldn't be the fan favorite to win this race either. Unsurprisingly, that title would go to Admire Groove and Take. Even though Take placed third against Miyuki in the Oka show, Many believed it was all part of Take's plan. Whispers spread that Take was simply measuring Miyuki and Still's capabilities, saving them for the Yushin Himba. Though this thought may seem outlandish, it was a theory that only Take could make believable, being the most legendary jockey to emerge from Japan. Funnily enough, not being the fan favorite alleviated some pressure off.
The most legendary? Interesting. Interesting. That's a crazy title. I alone am the jockey one.
Off Miyuki, who could now focus solely on aiding Still to claim a victory at the Yushin Himba. Still in Love and Miyuki's performance at the Yushin Himba could only be described as flawless. Still in Love would hover mid-pack for a majority of the race before surging at the final homestretch. Still would display the fastest closing time on the field, clearing 300 meters in 33.5 seconds. Admire Groove, who'd attempted to surpass Still in Love from the rear, would clear the same distance in 33.7 seconds, finishing the race in 7th place. Still, despite being the—
Damn, that's a whoa, that's a fall off. Not air proof, air groove. Groove with a G. Not prove. But it does air proof does sound like a pair of Nikes. Yeah.
second favorite, crossed the finish line far ahead of Admire Groove, securing the second tiara. The Yushin Himba would take place on May 25, 2003, and between this point and the final race of the Triple Tiara, Still would find herself entering another race in between. By this point, Miyuki firmly believed that the Triple Tiara was within reach, all of his doubts and pressure he'd previously felt evaporating after this victory. From once not believing in seizing a single G1 win, to now firmly standing behind the thought of making Still in Love the second ever Triple Tiara racer. Needless to say, Miyuki had come a long way. It would be during the Rose Stakes.
Let's hope there is not a bad ending. There is a bad ending to this, certainly. As far as I've heard. Let's hope she actually wins this. I hope so. I hope they win this. They deserve this. Let them win, please.
Held on September 21st, 2003, that the cracks would begin to form as a result of Still in Love's pedigree. For the first time in their career, Still in Love would display a sudden behavioral issue, ones which Miyuki had never encountered before. Instead of responding instantly to certain commands, Still in Love took a while to synergize and react to Miyuki's cues. In addition, she also rushed forward on her own, expelling her stamina far too early on in the race. Still in Love was also 22 kilograms heavier than she was in the spring, adding to the difficulty to have her maintain her pace and speed. Still in Love would finish this race in 5th place, slowly building the uneasiness Miyuki had experienced at the—
I wonder what caused this. I wonder what caused us still waiting for a big titty horse girl. I mean, Dara Scarlet is built well. Super Creek is also quite built well. But you're never gonna get a sexualized horse that's just not gonna happen. Super sexualized. That's just not gonna happen. If you're waiting for that, you're waiting. It's like waiting for Nintendo to have proper sales. I'm sorry, that's not gonna happen.
Start of Still's career. The Rose Stakes would also be won by Still in Love's rival, Admire Groove, which only shook Miyuki's confidence. Still in Love following this race.
Now I have a better opportunity to actually inspect her. So first of all, she has red. Is that red nail polish? That appears to be red nail polish, though it's not everywhere. It appears. I like the little crystal there. Obviously, I like the combination of red, of like red, and then the white here inside, the white with the little bows. There's also this light blue. I thought it was white before, but it's actually light blue. I think the color scheme is what does it for me a lot. Yeah, the color scheme in general. Like the light blue with the red and white on the insides, then the golden hearts. That does it for me. And obviously, the yandere.
Would continue to show behavioral issues leading up to the Shuka show. Even in the paddock while training, Still seemed to be on edge. Instead of giving in to fear, Miyuki attempted to shake these doubts and remain by Still's side. On October 19th,
yes, it appears that I have to at least have enough to get a guaranteed copy, if I wish to have one, when she does eventually come to global in a few years. Definitely, there's no doubt about it.
2003, Miyuki would enter the gate alongside Still in Love, ready to aim for a victory at the Shuka show. Despite Still's previous difficulties synergizing with Miyuki, she ran very smoothly after exiting the gate. Near the final home stretch, just like many times before, Miyuki commanded Still to advance. However, a sudden noise rang through his ears, and his worst fears soon materialized. From behind, Miyuki could hear the sound of thundering hooves approaching at an alarming speed.
Thundering hooves. Like, bro, if you get immediate, basically almost like PTSD like energy when a specific horse behind you, yeah, terrifying.
Instantly, he knew it was Admire Groove. Miyuki, overwhelmed in the moment, accepted that the race was lost, and mentally resigned from the Shuka show. But just like before, fate would intervene. Just as swiftly as the hooves had filled Miyuki's ears, they vanished, and everything fell silent around him. All that lay before Miyuki was the finish line. By some miracle, or destined by fate, Still in Love had bested Admire Groove by 1/10 of a second, cementing herself as the second Japanese racehorse to claim the—
Oh, we got a huge win. That is huge. She's cool. I already love her. Oh, that is cool.
Triple Tiara title. For Miyuki, the victory was less about the title itself, and more about the strength that Still in Love displayed during the race. He firmly believed that if this race had been in the spring, Still in Love would have won without a shadow of a doubt. This thought only led Miyuki to admire how hard she'd fought to win the Shuka show. At this point, there had been a lot of ups and downs through Still in Love's career, and a lot of lessons learned by Miyuki along the way. The Oka show was relieved from all the pressure built up on Miyuki over time, while the Yushun Himba—
Bro must have literally, like, just died the moment he reached the finish line. Like, bro must have— the relief must have just, like, visibly left him. Like, all the stress, everything just, like, whoosh, gone. Bro probably had just laid down and just, like, stared at the sky and be like, yeah, I can retire now.
was the solidification that the tiara could be achieved. The Shuka show was the admiration for how hard Still in Love had fought despite the sudden change in her behavior. Miyuki realized that even with winning the triple tiara, he had rode Still in Love poorly on several occasions, one of which being at the Shuka show. He felt that most of the time, Still had carried him to victory when a win should be a collective between a racehorse and jockey. Miyuki felt that the only victory they truly shared in the triple tiara was at the Yushun Himba. Though this story already was filled with many twists and turns, I've saved one final revelation to end off this portion of the video. Upon claiming the triple tiara, Matsumoto had something important he wanted to tell Miyuki. His career thus far with Still in Love was a journey forged through—
Oh, please be something good. Please be something good. Please be something good. Please don't be something sad.
through destiny and human connection. However, Miyuki would soon learn that this connection had been forged long before he ever set foot in the Matsumoto stable. Forget about me, just give Hideki the ride. This quote, which was relayed to Miyuki, was said by his senior, Seiki Tabara. By this point, the genius jockey Miyuki had looked up to had been expelled from the racing world due to certain circumstances. Over time, Miyuki had grown distant from Tabara and never expected to hear his name in this context. Through this, everything began to make sense. This plea had become the spark that set his path with Still in Love in motion. When receiving the call to the Matsumoto stable, Senior Tabara had already asked Matsumoto to give Miyuki a chance. Matsumoto, a usually strict man, had not only given Miyuki the reins to ride any horse he pleased at the stable, but also never reprimanded or.
So what you're essentially telling me is that bro was destined to ride Still in Love. That you deal riding a horse. I can't believe you're secretly famous. I have, in fact, I have once ridden a horse and a pony, but not in a race.
Or scolded him, staying true to his promise he made to Tabara. Tabara didn't only ask to give Miyuki a chance, but his final plea to Matsumoto was simple. Please take care of Hideki. Even with his departure from the racing world, Tabara wanted to ensure his favorite.
Interesting. What did bro do that he got expelled from like horse racing? Man, I could have at least wanted this information.
Apprentice's career was solidified. Still in Love would be the second filly in Japan's history to claim the triple tiara, following Mejiro Ramonu in 1986. Following this triumphant victory, Still in Love would sadly continue to decline as the years progressed. On November 16, 2003, Still in Love would compete in the Queen Elizabeth II Cup, once more going up against her longtime rival Admire Groove. Still in Love would place second in this race, losing once more to Groove, just like she did in the Rose Stakes earlier that year. From this race onward, as her race history displays, Still in Love.
Oh, it just got worse and it just got really worse and really bad. Oh. 17th, 9th, 6th, 9th, 3rd, 12th, 2 times 8th place and one time second place. Yikes. Horseback riding is quite enjoyable. It is very much enjoyable, definitely.
Would never achieve her former glory, and would continue to deteriorate in time, displaying an ever-growing fiery temperament and inability to synergize with the jockey she once showed such loyalty to. I'd like to break the immersion and add one small thing here as well. There is no official record stating that Still in Love saw Miyuki's fiancé at the Elizabeth Cup, nor any confirmation that such an event led to her mental collapse. Still in Love had already experienced a deteriorating mental state, most likely caused by the extensive overlap of inbreeding in her pedigree. Such outcomes.
Yeah, it could be inbreeding. Yeah, sure. That's just what people told me. That's just what I've seen online. That she saw his fiance. It would still be crazy if it was true though.
Are almost guaranteed with such a risky method of breeding, and it was only a matter of time before the effects started to show. Even with the repeated losses, Miyuki's fondness of Still in Love never faded. The memories of the early days of her career treasured in Miyuki's mind. To Miyuki, he wouldn't be where he was today without Still in Love. Still would race until October 16, 2005, with her final race being at the Fukuhimba Stakes. Miyuki would later recall that Still in Love, during her final year of racing, would charge forward uncontrollably, making it extremely hard to control the pacing of the race. Even though she looked physically stronger than other horses of her age, her mental instability acted as a major roadblock to secure victory. After retiring, Still in Love became a broodmare, only giving birth to one single foal.
Okay, Judah. Okay, interesting. Okay, that's just one.
Colt named Judah in 2007. Tragically, Still in Love would pass away in the very same year, due to intestinal intussusception, leaving behind one single foal. Just as fate had guided Miyuki's entire career, it would once more lead him back to Still in Love. During Still in Love's farewell ceremony, Miyuki, who was originally unable to attend, was able to participate in the ceremony due to a riding suspension he received at the time.
Oh, a suspension, okay. Just one baby horse. Damn. But that one is also inbred to a degree. That's the problem. That's the problem. I knew it would never work between us. Not because you're a horse, but because you're inbred. Oh no.
Almost bound by fate, he was able to say one final goodbye to the horse who gave him so much confidence in himself, one who taught him so much about the world of horse racing. Still in Love would be laid to rest at the Shimokobe farm where she was born, returning her to the place where her story had begun. So after hearing all this information on Still in Love, I like to shine a light on the direction Uma Musume took for her career story in the game. There's a reason why this Uma is surrounded by so much controversy, and why many dedicated Japanese fans of this game feel this scenario will never be replicated by side games again. In Uma Musume, Still in Love, on the surface, is a kind and gentle Uma who is looked past as the world moves on around her. It's as if she's invisible, with people not even being able to sense her presence or even see her in some scenes of the story. The only time Still is recognized is when she displays her monstrous other side of herself when racing. This form of Still is a nod to the inbreeding which led to her bad temperament. Still in Love, when in this deranged state, runs wildly, brute strength and force overtaking the elegance of proper form when racing.
Interesting. So they took essentially the yandere route, right? They took that basically and basically made like a not entirely like a split personality, maybe a little bit. Huh, interesting. Like one side being like her and then the other side being like the results of what that inbreeding may have caused, like the instability. I came for horse girls, not for lore. But I stayed for the lore.
Due to this, Still in Love would find herself facing ridicule and garnering a reputation of unease and fear by many people who crossed her path. It would be through the trainer that Still would believe that she could be loved like anyone else, and could fully place her trust in someone she held dear to her heart. The trainer fully accepts Still in Love, flaws and all, and aids her to achieving the triple tiara as the story progresses. Even though Still finds the trainer's actions incredibly caring, the trainer himself also harbors a selfish wish. It isn't the innocent Still that the trainer is infatuated with, but instead the deranged inner self Still in Love wishes to suppress. The ugly side of her is the side that the trainer yearns for the most, while Still in Love feels that she's finally found someone who fully loves and accepts her.
The trainer's into the yandere. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Remember, guys, men do enjoy crazy women more. A study said. Source, trust me, bro.
The trainer continues to chase the girl who he saw upon their first meeting. The girl who ran wild, screaming at the top of her lungs. The unhinged side of Still in Love. This creates tension later on in Still's story, but I wanted to leave it at that for now. If you'd like a whole video breaking down Still in Love's Uma Musume counterpart, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Comment Still in Love if you'd like to see that. Getting back on topic, even though Still in Love only produced one offspring, the red thread of fate would still tie her to Miyuki even in the afterlife. During Still in Love's celebration ceremony, Miyuki would meet Koji Oka, who, at the time, was a businessman who yet to obtain a horse owner license. 20 years after this meeting, Miyuki would jockey Yoka Yoka, a horse owned by the very same businessman. Alongside Yoka Yoka, they'd achieved the first JRA Central Graded race victory for a horse bred in Kyushu in 2021. Shortly after, due to an injury, Yoka Yoka would retire. In the fall of 2021, Miyuki once more would be entrusted a horse by Oka, this time racing at the Elizabeth II Cup. Miyuki would be paired with Akai Ito, and despite their 10th place ranking in the popularity poll, Akai would break away from the pack in the final homestretch, far outside the rest of her competitors. This gave Miyuki a victory at the very same race he'd failed to win with Still in Love all those years ago. The name of this horse, Akai Ito, pays tribute to a Chinese legend that would later be passed down to Japanese culture. Two people destined to be together that are connected by an invisible red thread tied from pinky to pinky at birth. Still in Love's name literally means, I still love you. And this victory with Akai Ito, or this red thread, is said to display that Miyuki was truly loved by Still in Love. One of the most famous commentaries from the Elizabeth...
This video's peak, by the way. Can I just say that? This video is peak when the yandere meets another yandere. True, this video is peak, by the way. Straight up.
Pup came right before Ito crossed the finish line. This is the red thread of fate. Even with no offspring left behind by Still in Love, she aided Miyuki by connecting him with Oka, achieving a victory he could not win previously alongside her. A racehorse who was born solely to lead a single man to the pinnacle of G1 racing, and to the glory of the Triple Tiara. One who would cut through the wind, running as if guided by fate itself. This was the story of Still in Love, a legacy burned into history through a life short-lived, under the shackles of her bloodline, a bond woven by the threads of fate, and inseparable even with the passing of time, where whispers of "I still love you" will remain in our hearts forever. Did you enjoy this video, and who should I cover next?
I don't know who you should cover next, but yes, I did enjoy the video very much. Yeah, it's crazy. This might definitely, this is so sad though. Yeah, it is very sad, it is. But it's crazy. It is just, okay, so the plan is, I need to have 20 pulls at all times, basically ready to when she arrives. So I need to have need to save up about, right, 30,000 carats. At all times. I need to. To get a guaranteed copy. I will probably look when she does release for the global schedule at the pace it is moving now. There needs to be a way to calculate this, and then we'll see. Then we'll see. I'll max her out. I don't care. I need to max her out. Anyways, this was peak. This was a peak video. Like, comment, and subscribe.